Hey everyone, welcome back. Goodness gracious. I'm just getting over a cold that literally had me sounding like Glorilla for the past 2 weeks, so excuse me. Let's try that again. Hey everyone, welcome back to Outside of Work, where we explore who we truly are beyond our job titles. I know, it's been a minute, but it's so good to be back on the mic talking to y'all about just the things that are in my mind about everything outside of work. And honestly, the main reason I have barely been putting out episodes is because of this new job that I've been having. It's definitely taken a lot of time away from this creative endeavor that I wanted to start, and which brings me to the theme for this episode today: boundaries. Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. I have found myself falling back into old patterns of letting work dictate my life. And honestly, thank goodness now that I'm aware of it and I'm like, hold on a second. Hold on a minute, because we cannot be falling back into the same thing we've been doing time and time again, girl. Like, this is a conversation I've been having with myself for the past 2 weeks. And so really, that's the theme of today's episode. Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. I, like you Swifties would say, I am in my selfish era, not selfish as in I don't care what my actions and my words do or how they affect other people, but more selfish in like really thinking about the things that bring me joy and happiness, being cognizant of what triggers me, what makes me mad or sad or something like that. And that really is a conscious effort, and that's all about boundaries. So listen, without any further ado, I know you've missed this theme song. Let's get to it. Okay, I say I'm in my selfish era. That to me means doing things that keep me sane. I want to keep my sanity because for the past 8.5 years, or at least for much of my life, it has been just doing what needs to be done, putting others before myself, and kind of rolling like that. But quite honestly, my big goal is to turn into one of those old people who just doesn't give a fuck anymore. I know you've met these people. They will just say what's on their mind. They will have a whole conversation with you and they just exude confidence. Like they know who they are through and through. And that's really like slowly but surely the kind of person I'm trying to turn into, because I need my sanity. It's crazy out here. And there are really different tiers of boundaries that I'm going to go over today. One of them being work, of course, another family, friends, and then social media. My goodness. So quick story time. I went to church this Sunday with my mom. It's been a minute since I've been to church. Okay, I'm a bad Catholic through and through. And when I say that, I mean I ask too many questions that I don't get answers to, and there's so many viewpoints that I just don't agree with. Having gone through the Catholic system my entire life, from confirmation to CCD to the whole nine. All right, if you're Catholic, you get it. But I've had a very strained relationship with it. In that, yes, I do still believe in God, but I just there's so many questions that I have that prevent me from fully committing. Like some people they're just fully committed. I'm like, listen, I have my own relationship with God. But that put aside, I was at church with my mom this past Sunday, and the deacon was talking about kind of like the tier system of how you should prioritize yourself, others, God, whatever. And so his tier system was, first and foremost, God is number one, Jesus, you're always worshiping him. He's number one on your list. Then after that are other people then come into play. And after that is yourself. So And I was sitting there kind of like questioning it, like, whoa, you really put yourself last on that list. That's crazy. Because I don't understand. Okay. I can see why God would be number one on that list for some people. I can totally get that. But if you're like me and you're kind of questioning your faith and you're not that fully committed to it as you used to, and you're working through it, if you change your number one, does that what does that make you? If because I thought, okay, I thought the list should be number one, yourself. Number two, others like family and stuff like that. And then number three, God. Oh gosh, I'm gonna get so much flack for this. I really am. But I don't understand how you can fulfill the rest of them if you don't take care of yourself. I mean, it might seem selfish, I guess, but I don't, to me, it doesn't seem like you'll be able to take care of your family or your friends if you're burning the candle at both ends. And so that's what I wish I could have talked to him after mass that day to have that conversation with him. I really do. But I mean, if you guys think otherwise, please let me know. Maybe I'm being too selfish and thinking that you have to put yourself first before you can like basically help anybody else. They say on an airplane, put your mask on first before assisting others. You know what I mean? It doesn't say pray, then help your kid, and then put your mask on. Anyways, all that to say, I'm in my selfish era in that I do not feel that I can be my full self if I have not taken care of what's going on with me. Okay? And so the different tiers I want to talk about today are work, family, friends, and social media. Those are the criteria I'm going to be talking about when it comes to boundaries. And when we talk about boundaries, it's not so much rules that you give to other people, because you really can't give rules to other adults. You can't police other people and the way other people, react or act. But so much more is just rules for yourself, right? If you put up boundaries for yourself, like, listen, I can't talk after 10 p.m. I'm trying to get a full 8 hours of sleep. That's all you got to let people know. Like, hey, mom, I'm sorry, I can't talk after 10. I'm going to sleep. I need a full 8 hours. That has nothing to do with what that another person has to do, but all on you and what you have to do. Okay. So I want to start off with work. As you know, I just started a new job and I have been trying to set boundaries early. I have been setting boundaries in that I don't work my weekends. And let me just put an asterisk on that, but I don't like to work my weekends. I am taking time off when I need it. I was recently just sick. Like I told you, I've been sounding like Glorilla for 2 weeks. It took everything in me to actually even just take a sick day, which is so sad. You know what I mean? Because I'm just so used to just like powering through with that. So the asterisk, I don't work on my weekends. It's an asterisk. Gee, say that word 5 times fast. It's an asterisk because, I work in journalism, and sometimes there are historic moments that we get to cover. And, I might be put on the story on a day I'm supposed to be working, and then the story bleeds into my weekend. On the upside, if I work the weekends, I get those back as comp days. But I also feel like in those scenarios, it is totally worth it because I get to cover a historical moment and I don't feel as bad about missing my weekends in those terms, Like, for example, recently I've been covering the Luigi Mangione story. Literally, we were in Pennsylvania the day that he was caught and covered it throughout that week. And guess what? The coverage was going to bleed into my weekends. I was like, bruh, this is a big story, Gentrix. You don't want to miss this one. And luckily, I didn't have too many big plans, like too many major plans. The plans I had could easily be moved over, and the people I talked to understood. But to me, I knew for my own future, journalistic future, that it would be worth it to work this weekend. But I'm not going to try and make a habit of it, right? It's all about picking and choosing which stories I feel I can take on, and it's not going to completely mess up like, my week or my relationship with everything. Say, okay, so boom, not working on my days off. I feel confident in saying that I don't want to work my days off because I know when I am on, I do some pretty good damn work. Okay, I'm a good producer. I am good at story coverage and working with correspondents and working with people and everything. So I've proven myself. I'm not new to the game, and I feel as if I'm in a place now where I can make those boundaries and my reputation isn't tainted in any way. When I was a much younger producer, I would burn the candle on both ends. I would work sometimes 7 days a week and just keep it pushing. I would work overnights and then stay up and then do a shoot the next day. And because in essence, I was trying to prove myself. I was just a beginner, and that's when I was going ham. And looking back now, I don't know if I would change much. I would probably set bigger boundaries on like maybe taking some time off when I needed it, to sleep, to just unwind. But otherwise, it's like, I think I had much bigger bandwidth when I was younger than I do now. Listen, a girl is tired. I am exhausted. I am so tired. So nowadays, if you expect me to be working like a 7-day week, it's not happening. It's not happening. I really have to I had to think about it and be like, is this gonna benefit me in the long run? Because if not, we're not doing it, babe. It's just not happening. And I mean, even for those young in their career now, I know for many fields, there definitely is this idea of overworking to prove yourself. I don't know. I hate it. I know it's in TV. I know it's in the arts. I know it's in a lot of things. It's in finance. It's in a lot of things. And I'm still trying to figure out what is that boundary that you can set when you're first starting off, so you're not burning out so early. So you're not like working crazy more than 40 hours a week in a job. Like, I still think you have agency to set those boundaries for yourself, even working as, young as you are. I totally wish I could have done that more and taken more sick days. Ay, ay, ay. And listen, this is outside of work. So you need to be able to take care of yourself outside to be able to show up at work and do the best work that you can. It's not, I don't know, I'm just so sick of overworking. I'm so sick of doing it for doing it for the team, I don't know. It's just such a load of BS, to be quite honest with you, because at the end of the day, these companies can replace you so quickly. They could find somebody else so quickly. So what are you really sacrificing for? If you need that sick day, take that. If you need that time off, take that. Because I know some people who literally by the end of the year, they're being forced to take time off because they didn't use any of it during the entire year. All 365 days? Are you kidding me? Can't be me. The next boundary we're going to talk about is family. Oh my goodness. This can be a tricky one for some people, for sure. Setting those boundaries with family can look different for everybody. For myself, I've had to set some strict boundaries with family members. I have a cousin who I've had to set really strict boundaries with recently. And this is a cousin who we were like two peas in a pod, right? Thing one and thing two for most of our lives. And as you grow up and adulthood happens, our paths kind of splinter. And that's what started to happen with me and her. And she just, we used to chat it up all the time. Whenever my family would go back home to Kenya, we would just be inseparable, really. But then slowly, she began to lose my trust. And that was so upsetting. It's so upsetting to lose the trust of someone that you've just been so close to all your life, and thinking that you're going to grow up together and have all these different life experiences, only for it to not really turn out that way. And I think that's the toughest thing I ever had to do. There was an incident last year where my boyfriend finally showed me that, like, listen, sometimes you need to make boundaries with people for your own peace. The trajectory that she had taken her life into was stressing me out. There's only, I don't, without getting too deep into the weeds, all I will say is there's only so much help you can give people until eventually they just have to help themselves, and you have to let them go. And so that's where I found myself. My boyfriend made it very clear, like, you did all you can, to help this cousin, but now I think you need to take a step back. Not just because, not because you're mad at her or anything, but more for your peace of mind. Like, I was very, very sad that I had to make that boundary. But at the end of the day, I was also so angry to have lost that kind of trust in someone that I had trusted so much. So that kind of boundary needs to be made with family. The holiday season is a very tough time for many people and their families, and that's when boundaries really, really need to be set. Oh my goodness. If you feel, listen, you don't have to go to grandma's house this holiday season if it doesn't make you feel good. You don't have to do that. You don't have to talk to certain family members to bring you down or just, take you out of yourself. There's nothing that you have to do. You're a whole grown ass adult. You could choose not to go to that family function. You could choose not to talk to certain people in your family. I know that's harder said than done. If you come from a family like mine, where you really have to trust in your family, then that can be kind of hard. But sometimes that's what brings you the most peace. So this holiday season, if you need to set these boundaries for your own mental health and maybe even for your own physical health, I say do it and be selfish in that way, because at the end of the day, it's your peace of mind. It's your peace of mind. And then later, maybe you could try to slowly regain that relationship, or maybe that relationship is dead. And that's something I think we all need to be okay with. Maybe that relationship is dead and gone, and it is what it is. While some people have to set up boundaries with their families, with my immediate family, I'm opening those boundaries. I feel I have lost so much time in the past 8.5 years that I have let work dictate my time. Now I'm reclaiming that time. I really am. And I intend to spend that time with my family, making more sacrifices in clearing my schedule and being more intentional about hanging out with them. Okay. So, one of the things that I've really, really been trying to do is understand my parents. I have an amazing relationship with my mom, and I think I can have a better relationship with my dad. And that for me will come with hanging out with them more, spending more time with them, asking them about their past, their childhood, their everything. A bit of backstory. It's all little quick story times today, isn't it? My dad came to the United States in the late 90s on a scholarship. Was it some university in Illinois? You see what I mean? This is why you need to talk to your parents. I want to say the University of Chicago, but Lord knows I'm probably saying the wrong one. But he came to the U.S. on a scholarship. He's the oldest of all his siblings. I believe there's 6 of them, 6, 7. Listen, this is a big family, and I'm not good with numbers, so just 6 or 7. He's the oldest of 6 or 7 siblings. And he knew from the beginning that he had to hustle. He had to work hard in order to provide for his siblings and his family. So He got a scholarship to go to college in Nairobi, and then that in turn turned into a scholarship to come to the States, the first in our family to ever do it. Everybody, I've talked about this before, but that he came, with the opportunity. The United States has always promised immigrants. Can't say it's the same nowadays, but that's what he came here with. And I don't know too much of, his backstory. I know that, he worked hard. He worked hard to provide for his family and for us. And my siblings and I came to the US then later in 2000 or 2001, I always forget. And I've seen them hustle. I've seen my parents hustle, from learning this new language and culture and everything to taking care of us the best way they can. It's only been recently that I've kind of been thinking about what they went through to give us a pretty easy life, in my opinion, way easier than if we were still living in the village in Kenya. But I feel as if I need to ask more questions to fully understand their backstory. I know there was a time before 2021 when I was really angry at my parents. And looking back now, I'm so annoyed because it's like, I don't know, it's kind of misplaced anger. There's more of an anger of miscommunication because here I am in this new generation of immigrants who got to grow up in the US and kind of grow up in this mentality. But they've always grown up in survival mode. And so then trying to bring these two ideas together, like, hey, let's talk about some of the ways that we were raised and the way, things were and kind of how we interact with each other with this old fashioned, like, we need to do A, B, and C to get to D. So that there's no time to be thinking about, oh, well, how does this make me feel? Well, how does, what is my inner self telling me? And I only came to this conclusion in the past couple of years after, speaking with my friend, and it's like we need to understand that, like, maybe our parents only have a certain capacity of understanding. We are privileged. Well, when I say we, I mean, like, maybe anyone who's a first generation immigrant or second generation immigrant, dealing with people with parents who kind of have more old fashioned ideals. We need to understand that there's only so much they can understand, because we have been awarded the privilege to sit here and have the time to contemplate, well, how do I feel? Well, what are my triggers? Well, what is a safe space? Because for them, it's always been survival mode. It's always been, what do I need to do to provide food on the table, a roof over their heads, and to make sure that these kids are growing up with good ideals. They didn't have the time or the space to be like, oh, let me go to therapy. It'll be great now. I mean, if we all could, but at the end of the day, they also, I don't know, unpopular opinion, I don't think they have to. Maybe they can find that kind of understanding in a different way. Therapy's not always, a one size fits all kind of thing. But anyways, back to the boundaries. I'm opening myself up more because I feel as if I've definitely closed myself off to my parents when it comes to understanding. And so now, because we only have so much time with our parents, I am going to try to understand without getting angry or annoyed and kind of meet them in the middle. Yeah, I think that's where that's at. And then with my siblings, oh my goodness, heck yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying to get so much closer with. I mean, we're already close. The Shanga clan, the Shanga kids, we are so close. But I think we can get closer for sure. I'm the second oldest of five. I want to know what my younger siblings are all about, and I want to know what their future aspirations are. My older sister, I want us to connect even more, see what she's up to, see what her life goals are, because she's in a process of transition and change herself, with her partner and kind of setting up their life. And one thing that I'm really excited about, y'all, oh my gosh, is this Kendrick concert. My younger brother and I, we went to the Big Steppers tour it wasn't last year, it was the year before that, right? I'm forgetting now. But we went to the Big Steppers tour, and I said, I'm sick and tired of sitting in the nosebleeds. No more. We are going to get some seats closer to the stage, and we're going to have a fun time. And that's what we did. Oh my gosh, that concert was so fun. And Kendrick is like my favorite artist. So to see just his artistry expand and evolve as much as it has, it's been so beautiful to see. And with my little brother, who also can appreciate that same artistry. So for this next tour, the GNX tour, bruh, I mean, these tickets are looking crazy. You've all seen it. You've all seen it. But that's another chance for us to like share another moment together, share an experience together, and just, yeah, I'm just trying to get as close as I can to my siblings. Like, I don't know why. And maybe I just need to like think a bit more introspectively about this, but I just feel as if we don't have that much time. We don't have that much time on this earth. Like none of this is guaranteed. And so I'm trying to be as intentional as possible when it comes to how I spend my time and who I spend my time with. So those boundaries with my family getting opened up. Getting so opened up. I want my younger siblings to be able to know that they can come to me. I mean, they already know this, but even more, that they can come to me if they have any issues, if they have any life questions, if they just want to chill and have a good time. I think my little sister she's gotten this a bit more than some of my other siblings, but she is so touchy-feely. Oh my gosh. And listen, growing up in an immigrant household, we don't really show affection like that. We don't be like touching and kissing each other and saying I love you and stuff like that. Like, no, we just know it. It's implied, okay? But my younger sister, she's always all up on me, giving me hugs, like always touching, always, It's a lot, but it's definitely opening up that. It's definitely opening up that boundary for me, and I think it's okay. I'm slowly getting acclimated to it. I am. I'm not very much an affectionate person or a PDA kind of person, but I think I could get used to it. Yeah. Okay. Friends. Ooh, this is an interesting one. Because I think in the past couple of years, I've learned a lot about what it is I'm looking for in a friendship, which is crazy to say because all my life, most of my relationships have been about cultivating genuine, good friendships. But now I look back on it, I'm like, I feel as if I was putting in more of the effort in some relationships than was being given back to me, right? Okay, boom. So I had a friendship of over 10 years. I want to say over 15 years. And because of one dispute. And I've talked about this before. But it's wild to think that like you can think you know a person until shit really hits the fan and their true self appears. And so that taught me a lot in that it's like, why am I keeping this friend around? Is it just because we've known each other for so long? We've grown up with each other. We have all these memories. There's just this time that we don't want to give up, because we've known each other for so long. And that really got me thinking, like, I don't think time is the only barometer for what makes a good friend. Because I've had friends for even less time than that friendship that ended. They're clearly much stronger. And so it got me thinking that, like, wow, time doesn't mean anything when you're in a friendship. It's all about how you guys show up for each other, you know? And so what I've started to do in recent years, especially in the past year, is I don't put in as much effort in reaching out to certain friends as I used to. And it kind of shows. Listen, okay, I don't think I'm bringing up anything new. I think it really shows who's been putting in the most effort into the friendship, who's actually been keeping it alive by keeping that text thread going, by keeping those IG gifs going, you know, GIFs. Why did I say gifs? GIFs. I've never said GIF. And so I did that. I did that on purpose to see who the real friends are and who would actually reach out to me when it's not just me reaching out first. Do you get what I mean? And in a way, I've really stepped back. I've stepped back in a lot of friendships because I felt like I was pouring out so much from my own cup, filling up this friendship cup, only to be left empty. And that sucks. That sucks to think that, like, you have like this friendship that has been going on for so long. You think you're so tight, but then you look back and you're like, oh, I'm the one who's been putting in all this effort. That's crazy. That's wild. And even on the opposite end too, because I'm not perfect, let's be real. On the opposite end, I had to check myself, like, oh, you're the person on the flip side who waits for someone to contact you first before you reach out to that friend. And I'm shitty in that way. So, there's actually a friend in my mind right now who I've been thinking about all week because I'm like, oh my gosh, because he hasn't been sending me funny videos on Instagram or GIFs or stuff for us to, like, you know, talk about, we haven't spoken in like a month. And that's on me. That's on me. Because he always puts the effort in, you know, to reach out to me. But because he hasn't been doing that, we haven't spoken in a month. Oh my God, Gentrix, get your stuff together. Like, it's definitely a two-way street. And so, I mean, yeah, I got to reach out to him. I feel pretty bad about it. Another boundary that I've been setting up with people is text messages. And oh gosh, I think it's borderline bad now because I used to be a really good texter. Like, I would answer you within the hour, within the half hour that you text me. But nowadays, to be honest with you, you could send me a text, I could look at it, and then I'd be like, oh well, I'll answer it in a bit. I'll answer when I get around to it. I don't know. And I think I'm doing it more to, like, relieve pressure from myself of constantly being available for everybody. Like, let's chill a bit. I don't need to answer you immediately. You know, if I get back to you at least within the day, it'll be fine. And where I say it's become a problem is that I don't answer sometimes until the next day, or 2 days later, which is probably no bueno, but at the same time, I'm just kind of like, I'll get to it when I get to it. You're my friend. You should, you know, you'll understand. Unless it's like an emergency. I'm not leaving people on an emergency on hold, but I'm just not really in much of a rush to answer back texts or to you know, return that phone call so immediately. I'm going to give you a call and we'll have a chat when I feel as if I have more bandwidth or time, or, you know, I'm not bogged down with whatever it is I'm doing. The same goes with, like, hanging out, right? When I used to work my crazy schedules of, like, weekend overnights or, you know, just these ridiculous schedules that TV has had me on, I would go out of my way to lose sleep, to fit people into my schedule, you know, go the whole nine just to hang out. I don't know. In my selfish era, I'm just kind of like, well, hang out when the time is good and I'm not stressing or stretching things out too much. Okay? Because I'm just trying to keep my sanity. Do you know how much stress there is in life? And it's just like, if a friend is a good friend, they'll understand and you can easily move a plan to a time that fits for both of y'all. And me, I'm not trying to squeeze it in between anything. I'm not trying to stress myself out. Hell no. Forget that. But ultimately, like I said, the true friends will understand. And I think my kind of taking a step back in friendships has truly revealed to me who the real people are, who is, who is worth my time. That sounds so bad, but I don't know. It is what it is. Who's worth my time? Who thinks that I'm worth their time? Because that's what it is at the end of the day. And the biggest boundary that I've set in the past year is social media. I'm barely on social media anymore. I barely am. I used to love Twitter before Elon Musk took it over, and then it just became a hate tirade, even more than it used to be, really. Because, we remember on Twitter, you used to like live tweet shows and stuff. You could, like, if a major news event was happening, you could go on and see what other people were talking about, see what was trending. As a journalist, I loved Twitter because that's where all the officials will put their statements. That's where you can find people talking about certain events, and you can like reach out to them for like pictures and videos and stuff. But I don't know. I'm not even on Twitter as much anymore. And I'm definitely not on Instagram as much anymore. Oh, God, no. If anything, I am more on the Outside of Work official Instagram page, which, by the way, follow that, than I am on my personal page. It's just because there are some things that I see that I'm just sick of. I'm just sick of it. I don't know why they make me mad or annoyed or whatever, but I just, maybe some people can relate with me, but on my personal account, without fucking fail, every time I log on, it's one of three things. Somebody getting engaged, somebody getting married, or somebody expecting a baby, or they popped that shit out already. I don't know. Listen, I'm in that age now where that's what's happening. People are getting married, people are having babies, people are all this freaking life stuff that people put up. And I'm sick of it. Maybe I need to go to therapy to break down why that makes me mad, but it just does. And, okay. Maybe a part of me low-key feels like, oh, gosh, this is so tough, because in my mind, whenever I hear like the younger generation get mad about like what's posted on social media or like what people say about them on social media, I'm like, bro, just log out. Like, it's that simple. Why are you comparing yourself with other people? But then you actually live through it. You see your peers going through these life changes, and sometimes you feel like you're being left behind. And I know subconsciously, I know internally that everybody has their own timing. I know that everybody goes through life in their own way, but we are human at the end of the day. And it is so damn hard to just be like, man, whatever, that's what's happening. It's hard not to compare. And so for my own sanity, for my own sake, for my own peace of mind, I barely go on my personal Instagram anymore. That's a boundary I made. If I do go on my personal Instagram, it's for 1 minute. I'm so flipping for real. I wish somebody could like time me as I go on there, because literally it's like, okay, baby, marriage, all right, now I'm off. But I've curated my Outside of Work official Instagram page to basically just be like meme accounts and funny stuff and things that just bring me joy. And so I prefer being on that account more, because this stuff isn't like shoved in my face in a way. I've been on social media since 2009, y'all. For over 2 decades, I've been on social media. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. It used to be so much fun. It used to be a way to connect with people, but now it's like who can outperform the next person? Who can show a more picturesque life more than another person? And even though we all know this is true, you can't help but internalize it, and it fucking sucks. So that's why I'm barely on there anymore. You know, if you send something to me on Instagram, listen, I might answer you in, I don't know, I might answer you the next day because I'm just not on it like I used to be. I do enjoy TikTok. TikTok's fun. I mean, I'm on there like once a day to check the outside of work account. But when I am on there, it's good. I see what they've done with this algorithm. It like curates some good stuff for you to look at, so you're not just looking at fucking engagement photos and wedding photos and stupid ugly babies all the time. They're not ugly. I'm just speaking out of term, but you get what I mean. And so the boundary I've set with myself is that I don't frequent social media as much anymore. I'm tired. I don't care. And for my own peace of mind, I just stay away. And honestly, it's been the best thing I've ever done for my mental health. It really is. I'm sick and tired of social media. I think that's okay. I think the boundaries that I've set so far with it are continuing to help me to keep my peace of mind. And hopefully you can find some ways to kind of set those boundaries with social media as well. You don't need that kind of, you don't need that kind of feeling in your life. And I mean, listen, if I'm wrong, if I just need to log out, if it's as simple as logging out, y'all let me know, because I need to figure out why it makes me so angry. It just annoys me. It annoys me so much. Oh gosh. Yeah. But I mean, social media can be good too. You know how people like the disenfranchised, those who have always felt alone. I know they've definitely found family in social media. But then also there's a flip side, like the manosphere that's been taking over the minds of these young men, talking about high value men, high value women, that nonsense. So there's also that flip side. But as a whole, you could definitely curate it to just show you things that make you happy. That's what I do. My meme accounts and everything. That's what I'm going to continue doing, because Lord knows I need some peace of mind. At the end of the day, you can choose what boundaries you want to set with people, with social media, with work. You can choose those boundaries, and they're not boundaries for other people, but more for you to keep your sanity, to keep yourself going every single day. And I think it's necessary. As I slowly turn into the old fart that I so admire, the ones that just don't give a fuck anymore, the ones that just live their life, wake up in the morning, do their routine, you know what, go to work, come back, live their life. That's what I want to be, because I find that sometimes I do compare myself to other people, and it sucks, but what am I doing about it to make sure that I'm living authentically and that I'm still going towards the goals that I want, at my own timing? And if you're struggling with setting boundaries, maybe you just start small. Maybe it's saying no this week. No is so powerful. Listen, no has become my favorite word. No, I can't do that. No, I can't work that extra day. No, I can't hang out today or next week. But maybe let's do this. Oh, no can be your best friend too. So if you have a hard time with boundaries, just start with a no. Maybe it's something you don't want to commit to, and that's okay. Also, ask yourself, what's one area in your life where you feel as if you're being stretched too thin? Start with setting a boundary to reclaim your time or energy in that way. And remember, boundaries are a form of self-respect. You are respecting yourself, your time, your needs, your everything. when you set boundaries. Okay. I'm cheering you on. Hopefully you can cheer me on too, because it is not easy. It really isn't easy. And I'd love to hear about the ways that you guys set boundaries, DM me, send me a voice note. Let's chat it up, because I think this is something, especially going into the new year, even make it a resolution. Give yourself that self-respect. Set those boundaries to make sure that you are not overstretching, that you are not losing your mind, and that you can reclaim your life in the way that you want to. So until next time, set those boundaries, and I'll talk to you soon. Hey there, one more thing before you go. First, thank you so much for watching and listening. You didn't have to. You could have done literally anything else with your time. So I am so appreciative. Number two, if you liked what you heard or you resonated with anything, please like, comment, subscribe. Do all the things. All the links will be in the show notes so we can continue exploring this wild, weird, wacky, and awesomely wonderful world outside of work. So you're not just looking at fucking engagement photos and wedding photos and stupid, ugly babies all the time. They're not ugly. I'm just